Hello and welcome to the GBC Newsroom's update on this Saturday evening. The Chief Minister has used his Easter message to reflect on what he says have been 4 seminal weeks for Gibraltar and its efforts to slow down the spread of Covid-19. He said tough measures have been taken and these are having the desired effect. So far, 1,540 swabs have been returned. 129 people have tested positive for the new coronavirus, and of those, 45 remain active, while the rest have been deemed fully recovered. Mr. Picardo thanked all essential workers. He called for renewal, reflection and self-improvement. But he warned the new virus was going to leave a cavernous crack in our economy, and that life would be different from now on. He said there would be no more free rides, and he called on the community to work together and to work harder than ever before. This is the Chief Minister Fabian Picardo's Easter message in full.
Good afternoon, and an especially good afternoon to our senior citizens and those of you with particular vulnerabilities. I can report to you that as at today, we have taken 1,558 swabs for COVID-19. 18 are pending and 1,540 results have been received. Of those, 1,392 were negative. 129 were confirmed as COVID positive. 45 of these cases remain active. 84 are already deemed recovered. We've now had returned all of the swabs in the random sample of 400. Of these, 10 had COVID. 7 are active and 3 already recovered. Having given you those statistics, today, instead of a press conference, I want to reflect on these seminal past 4 weeks. I also want to look forward to the challenge of the weeks to come. I know I've had some very tough messages for you all these past 4 weeks. We've had to take very tough decisions. In doing so, we have been ably assisted by many dedicated and quite remarkable people who care very much about you. Yesterday marked just 100 days since the first reported death from COVID-19. And yesterday also, Good Friday, the worldwide death toll from the disease exceeded 100,000. That is a remarkable average of 1,000 dead each day from this deadly virus. So all the tough measures we have imposed are for a very good reason. And you can see that they're having the required effect. I know how difficult and frustrating it is for you to be obliged by your own government to remain indoors. We are conscious that we're depriving you of the touch and embrace of your loved ones. So believe me when I tell you, I am committed to ensuring that these measures should not last a minute longer than necessary. The imposition of these controls on your freedom of movement is an indelible scar on my own heart. They are a constant strain on my conscience. That is why, in the Cabinet, we're already seeking to work on appropriate exit strategies to lift the restrictions imposed as soon as possible. And I wish I could tell you that we already have all of the answers. I wish I could say it is all over. That day will come, but it is not here yet. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. That is why my message to you today is a message of hope. Hope in a better, fairer future. Because I see amongst us a spirit of defiance and survival that has not been seen since the evacuation and the Crow's Frontier generation. I've seen a generation of Gibraltarians show a strength of character which many had thought was only in the past. I have always known it was there inside of us. The stoicism of our previous generations runs in our veins. It's in our DNA. And the outpouring of generosity I've seen from our community has been remarkable. The fact is, our history has taught us never to take things for granted. It has taught us to pull together in times of challenge. And it has taught us to defend our people with all our heart and soul. That is why we have all been ready to make huge sacrifices to protect those whom we value the most. For our children, our parents, our grandparents, our friends, for each and every one of us, by protecting you we are protecting ourselves. And that is who we are as a people. I find it hard to put my gratitude into words. I cannot thank the essential workers on the front line enough. Every single one of our GHA employees, our law enforcement agencies and civil contingency teams, our teachers who are working to ensure our frontline workers can be at the coalface, to every single delivery driver, supermarket attendant, refuse collector, every single cleaner, every single one of our active public servants. You have reminded many of how important you are to the infrastructure of our lives. I want to also thank the Leader of the Opposition and my fellow parliamentarians for their support at this time. All of Parliament, government and opposition, understands what we are facing. And we're united and determined to minimize the impact of this pandemic on you. And every single volunteer also deserves our thanks. You're stepping forward to work when you could quite happily sit this one out at home. But that is not who you are. That is not who we are. Thank you to every single one of you. And as ever in Gibraltar, the people working and stepping forward are of every religion and none. We're in the midst of Easter and Passover and a week from the start of Ramadan. So I want to reflect on one aspect of what is common to Christianity, Judaism and Islam at this time. And that is renewal, reflection, self-improvement. Whatever your religion or none, these are universal values. They may be what the confinement of these past weeks will have accentuated in all of us. All your stoicism, sacrifice, and your entrepreneurial spirit will be important when we start to emerge from this crisis. Covid-19 will leave a cavernous crack in our economy. We will emerge into a different economic reality. We have enjoyed decades of plenty. Now we must reflect that our plenty came only because generations before had made great sacrifices. To ensure that our children, our future generations, return to plenty, we will all have to sacrifice. Life will be different for us from now on. Not worse, not harsh, but certainly challenging. And this will be our engine for self-improvement. What we have achieved in 5 weeks is a measure of our capacity to improve as a community. We have pulled out all of the stops to provide whatever the GHA needs. We've also done and will do what is necessary to support employers and employees in our economy. The global economic implications of what is happening around us will spare no nation. The United Kingdom and Spain, the two countries we most interact with, will be faced with major challenges to reboot their economies. There is no doubt that a global recession is coming. The world may be about to face the first economic depression in almost a century. We are certainly about to face the worst economic downturn in our living memory. Gibraltar will not be immune from its effects, although we will fight to ensure our size protects us from its worst effects. We must ensure that economic downturn does not lead to social inequality or injustice. And we must ensure that we take forward the positive changes that we have made to how you interact with government during this period. These will be a strength for our future. So to all my fellow Gibraltarians, I say this. The policy that has driven my politics is that Gibraltar's greatest asset is you, its people. Today, I'm demanding of you social distancing. Tomorrow, Gibraltar will demand of you social responsibility. Let me be clear. Gibraltar has done and is doing what it can do for you and for all of us. From now, you too must do more for Gibraltar. There can be no more free rides. I call on you to play your part in our recovery, to work for the common good and not just for selfish gain. Working together, working harder than ever. Together, we will overcome the heavy cost that these unprecedented times will impose on all of us. Together, we will restart and recover. Together, we will seize the future for our children. And when our children and grandchildren look back, they will be proud of what we did in our time and generation. Let 2020 go down in Gibraltarian history as the year of our reckoning, And let us go down in history as the generation of Gibraltarians who were equal to this challenge, with our younger generation in particular being our beacon of hope. Let us be the architects of a great Gibraltarian renewal, a generation of Gibraltarians who took the difficult decisions to do the right thing, the generation that bravely steered a new course, sustainable, socially just, and aiming for the long-term prosperity of our community. So I call on you to play your part. Right now, that means helping us slow the spread of the virus. Play your part by staying safe in your homes. Play your part by working as hard as you can. And play your part by staying healthy. Gibraltar needs you. All of you. Thank you.
That was the Chief Minister's Easter message in full. Fabian Picardo reflected on what he said were 4 seminal weeks for Gibraltar and our efforts to slow down the spread of Covid-19. He said the tough measures that have been taken so far appear to be having a beneficial effect. 1,540 swabs have been returned so far. 129 people have tested positive for the new virus. Of those, 45 remain active cases. The rest have recovered. Mr. Picardo has thanked all essential workers. He called for renewal, reflection and self-improvement. And he warned that the new virus would leave a cavernous crack in our economy and that life as we know it would be different from now on. He said there would be no more free rides, calling on everyone to work together and to work harder than ever before. Well, that's the GBC Newsroom's update on this Saturday evening, focusing exclusively on the Chief Minister's Easter message. Tomorrow we'll be bringing you the Governor's message in full, and that's at 4 p.m. and we'll report on it in our news update at 8:30. Make sure that you tune in to Radio Gibraltar for the latest at 8:30 in the morning and again at 1:30 at lunchtime. And of course you can keep up to date via our website gbc.gi and on the GBC Newsroom social media. For now, thanks a lot for watching, enjoy your weekend and keep well.